Yes, good morning. Your Excellency, sir, Deputy President, Honorable Gachagua, the Cabinet Secretary Representative, Director Kato, Chairman and Directors of the Tea Board of Kenya, all the tea industry players present, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to host you for this precious occasion of unveiling the tea industry stakeholders' results and to launch the tea industry performance results for the year 2023. My staff and I sincerely appreciate your presence. Your Excellency, sir, I take this opportunity to thank you, your office, and my Cabinet Secretary for the trust of my appointment as the Chief Executive Officer of the Tea Board of Kenya 4 months ago. Your Excellency, sir, I allowed the establishment of the Tea Board of Kenya from AFA, as this has provided the institution a specific legal mandate and the strategic focus to develop, regulate, and promote tea industry locally and internationally. My management is focused on building strong collaboration with the government and private sector stakeholders to grow a profitable and resilient industry that will deliver the government development agenda while yielding high returns to the investors and the tea farmers. Your Excellency, sir, it's our honor that you visit us today. We humbly request you to adopt you as our executive tea champion. As the Kenya tea champion, we humbly request you to allow us to purchase a special trophy, which will be designated as the premium prize for our national tea class competition that's normally held annually, to award the outstanding companies who are performing well in the tea industry. Further, Your Excellency, we humbly also request you to lead a tea consumption campaign during the World International Day, which is marked on 21st of May 2024 in Nandi County, and again to promote the exhibition and the tea tourism as a occasion among the tea industry cadets. I conclude also, sir, by introducing to you of a young, visionary and passionate professionals who have recently been appointed to lead the key institution in the tea sector. Just to mention a few, we have George Omuga, the Chief Executive Officer of the EATTA, East African Tea Trade Association. He can stand. Also, sir, we have Linda Ulwatch, the newly appointed Chief Executive Officer of the Tea Growers Association. And the astute entrepreneur, Alfred Soy, he can start. Alfred Soy has 8 factories in Kenya. And the young Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Brian Soy of the Kipchumjim Group. He's a young man of 22 years, managing 8 companies. Your Excellency, sir, all the stakeholders, my promise is that we shall deliver a prosperous tea industry. Allow me, sir, to do an overview of the industry and 3 slides. Sir, this year, sir, in this country we have 834,129,000 farmers who are supplying tea to 142 factories. Tea supports 6.5 million Kenyans directly and indirectly, and which represent 13% of the Kenyan population. It contributes 2% of the GDP and 4% of the agriculture GDP. The subsector accounts for approximately 21% of the export earning and is the 3rd leading foreign exchange earner for the country after diaspora remittance and tourism. Globally, we are the leading supplier or exporter of Black Sea, accounting to 24% of the world tea exports. The subsector plays a major role in the infrastructure development within the 21 tea growing counties in Kenya, and underscoring the importance of the subsector in supporting Vision 2030 and the bottom-up economic transformational agenda. So, the concern that are facing the industry is we have the increased level of unsalty, which we have managed, currently stands at around 26 million kilos. Decline of quality, I think that's also still a smaller challenge. some exploitation of the tea farmers by hawkers. I think this is again that we are working to address. Low level of value addition and product diversification of the Kenya teas. Limited market access. 88% of our teas goes to only 10 markets. And poor governance in some institutions within the small-scale subsector, which we are working on. The key reform strategy is we have a strategic quality improvement program, which is up and running. And we are working with 20 factories to make sure that whatever that they are producing meet the markets. We are also addressing the challenges of the outlots, which I think it's on unmanageable level at the moment. We are also addressing the challenges on governance facing the tea sector institution, which we have a new team under the tea reforms. And we have also been granted the incentivizing the tea value addition and product diversification by the government. Again, we are working on enhancing the market access to new and emerging markets. We are also doing a study to reduce the cost of production borne by the tea farmers. That's why we have been able to put a reserve price for Kenyan teas. The payment for the tea growers for the last 5 years is, in 2019, average was 35 shillings, and up to last year, we were able to do 59 shillings. That is an upward trend, and we are sure this year we will do more. And the target that we have been given by government in the next 5 years, it should be above 100 shillings, and we are sure we will go above this 59. The imports value received is, in 2019, it was 117 billion. Currently, this year, that's the one that we are launching, we did 180.5 billion Kenya shillings from the export earning, which is a good trajectory. If you see from the graph is this year, this year 2024, we are likely to hit 200 billion due to the projects that we are ongoing. Also, internally, we have done 16 billion from the teas that we consume as a country under the local companies who are packing tea for the Kenyans. And the total proceeds from the export and domestic sale stands at 196.97 billion Kenya shilling that the tea industry fraternity has generated for this country. Lastly, sir, the other milestone is we were able to be given by government the subsidy fertilizers that we issued to all the farmers. The 834,139 farmers, they received the fertilizers. Initially, the price was 7,000, but the government made an initiative and we all sold to them at 2,500. And the fertilizer that have reached the farmers is 97,974 metric tons, which has been consumed by all the farmers. KTDA, they were able to give them 92,700, which have been issued to the farmers. And under the one which are supplying private and multinational, they are under the e-forger system. The impact on all these fertilizers, again, has triggered us to have a high productivity and the overall production of 570 million kilos that we were able to realize, up from 535.04 million kilos. We were able to do 570.26 million kilos of meti that we were able to realize through the initiative of the government of fertilizer subsidy program. Other milestone in the subsector is all the factories elected new board of directors for all the managed factories, and all of them, they have realigned themselves to the tea reforms. That aims at benefiting the tea growers. As a result, there is an improvement in the governance structure within the small-scale subsector based on their structure. Tea Board of Kenya, again, is under the Tea Act, we have realigned all those governance issues to be within what the other laws in this republic is, like the Companies Act 2025. The TPK has also developed a corporate governance, which we have issued to the industry to use and domesticate on their governance structures that they have at their workplace. And we are envisaging that the tea farmers will be given 1 billion for the fertilizer subsidy that we have discussed between our ministry and the KTDA managed factories. Value addition, sir, we have an ongoing robust program where we have been granted the removal of the VAT on all teas which are packed or purchased locally from the factories for value addition prior to re-export or exportation. Again, we have been granted the common user facility by the government to make sure that we establish the common user facility in Dogo Kunu. And the government has given us the go-ahead, and we are working now to get the allocation of the 10 acres at Dogo Kunu in Mombasa. And it will be used by all the industry players. We have 11 intervention under that document where we will address to make sure that we spur the value addition from the current 5% to 50% by 2027. Thank you, sir. Those are what we have for the team. Thank you. At this juncture, allow me to invite my chairman to introduce the chairman and issue his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mutai. His Excellency, Deputy President, Honorable Gachagua. We had the Cabinet Secretary who was here earlier, but he had to excuse himself due to other activities he had of the day. I think it has been a busy day for him, but he graced here. He planted a tree and he left earlier. I don't know whether I've got any chairman from members of parliament. We had invited some members of parliament. There is the chairman of KTDA, Mr. Enos Jero. We have the chairman of independent tea producers, Corinne Chariot. Mr. Silas Jibwakale, that is KTGA's chairman, and Mr. Adas Sewe, that's the chairman of WIATA. Your Excellency, I'll not take as much time because most of the figures have been displayed by our CEO. I wish to take this opportunity to thank you, Your Excellency, for according the tea fraternity the privilege to launch the Tea Industry Performance Resort 2023. I also would like to thank the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Honorable Rinturi, for the support he has given the tea industry for the last 2.5 years, thus enabling it to turn around and start registering positive results. I also take this opportunity to welcome all tea industry stakeholders and other partners who have graced today's events, which seeks to celebrate a good performance of the tea industry recorded in 2023. Karibuni sana. Your Excellency, the tea industry is grateful to the government for prioritizing tea as the key value chain in the government bottom-up economic transformation agenda. That is better. For transforming the agriculture sector in order to improve the livelihood of Kenyans and enhance food security for the country. This will give the industry much needed government focus in addressing the many challenges affecting the industry. As you know, and we all know, the tea is one of the most preferred beverages among the consumers globally. Indeed, in some of the developing countries, tea is even considered a basic food item among the consumers. Kenya, being the leading exporter of tea globally, therefore plays a very big role in contributing to food security globally. At home, the tea subsector is a source of direct and indirect livelihood to over 6.5 million people, who represents about 13% of the Kenya population. It also provides incomes and sources of livelihood to about 834,129 tea farmers, thus contributing to food security within the 19 tea growing countries. I also take note of the fact that tea is the leading export commodity for the country and a key foreign exchange earner after diaspora remittances and tourism, and therefore crucial to supporting microeconomic stability of the country. Since my appointment as the chairman of the Tea Board of Kenya in July 2023, I've been working in consultation with the ministry and your office to implement a lot of reforms in the management of the tea sector in order to revitalize it after a period of persistent stagnation and decline. In particular, the board is implementing programs to address the green leaf malpractices. In the West, they call it mangirito. In the others, they call it mahoro, but hawking. The declining quality of Kenya tea, the declining quality of the Kenya tea, increasing quantities of unsold teas in the auction, and low levels of value addition in tea. At my joining the board, KTDA alone had 95 million kilos of CTC and 14.6 million kilos of orthodox teas unsold. This was relating to about 32.5 billion Kenya shillings. This was a big concern, particularly to the poor cash flow of the tea factories. In fact, a lot of factories had to incur heavy bank loans to pay for the bonus that you graced in October 2023. At the beginning of this month, this figure has dropped to 26 million kilos, but unfortunately, most of the teas, as much as they are contracted, have not been shipped. It's only 31% of what out of the 43 which have been shipped. And if I take KTDA to KTDA, it's only 18% which has been shipped. We do hope KTDA will expedite the shipment to lessen the cost of the warehousing and improve cash flow to the farmers. Your Excellency, today, as we launch the report showing good performance of the industry, certain interventions will require your support in order to sustain the upward trajectory. One is the implementation of the programs aimed at spurring the level of value addition in the country. 2 weeks ago, my board and management visited KPA offices in Mombasa and requested to be taken to Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone. I'm afraid to report that the ground is not as much and it still needs some work to be done because we found the inhabitants still on the ground. Your Excellency, your visit to the site could hasten things. T-Board is ready, as our CEO had mentioned, is ready to put up a common user facility, but we will like the efforts of the government and assistance to hasten the ground to be ready for construction in Dongo Kundu. The other case we have is resolution of court cases which are hampering the implementation of the Tea Act 2020. Tea Board has engaged some of the petitioners who are willing to withdraw the cases. Gero Industries have already withdrawn. KTGA and their chairman is here. We had a bit of a conversation, and they are willing, and I think they have accepted, we are only willing to get the formal consent of the withdrawal. Thank you very much, KTGA. Bomet County, they promised they were having withdrawn, but we have not seen much yet, but we are still following to make sure the county and their governor promised us in Kerisho that they withdraw the court case. KTDA and East African Tea Trade Association, and their chairman and the CEO is here. We are yet to see your willingness to withdraw the court cases. I know East African Tea Trade, we are already in conversation and they are very much willing. And we hope we are having, I think, a meeting in the next 10 days. And we just hope we go ahead and do that. But KTDA, we are still having a struggle, which is between the old directors and the new directors and some of the factory directors. On a good note, last month I had a meeting with former Kirinyaga factory directors who are willing to withdraw their court petitions as per the guidelines, as per your guidelines. They have sworn affidavit to that effect, presented the same to their lawyers, and do hope they will do the necessary. Finally, the finalization of the tea industry regulation and other guidelines necessary to implement the Tea Act 2020. The Tea Board of Kenya has furnished drafts of miscellaneous amendments to the Senate and to the CS Agriculture. Implementation of programs aimed at addressing governance and management challenges in tea industry institutions. We had the one we called the Mangrito, the green malpractice. I'm happy to report most of it. We have seen a big improvement on this one. The only area we need maybe to concentrate is teas coming from Nyamira and heading to Mara, one of the factories there. But our people will be on the ground, and they are still going to go on the ground to try to solve the problem. In December, I chaired a meeting between the county commissioners, the police commandant, and the tea factories directors, all tea fraternity, and then we were talking about the effect of the hawking, because it was creating even insecurity where you go and find your teas has already been practiced overnight. But I'm glad to say most of it is already now calm, and we are seeing a much, much better result coming from those meetings. Tea Board of Kenya has also midwifed the new management agreements between small-scale farmers and KTDA Management Services Limited. Very soon, the factories will be benefited by the lower commission charged by the management agent, KTDA, from the 2.5 to 1.5%, plus other benefits in the agreement. The green leaf malpractices, that one I have mentioned, but we are on it. And thank you very much for gracing this occasion, Your Excellency. Now I'll call the representative, the person representing Mr. Katul, to come and represent the CS for Agriculture. Mr. Katul also is in our board, so he's not a newcomer. He is now wearing two hats. Welcome, Salim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Rashid Khator, the Secretary of Administration in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. I have the honor, Your Excellency, to read the speech of the Honorable Cabinet Secretary, Mithika Linturi, during the launch of the Tea Industry Performance Results 2023 at the Tea House on this Thursday, 29 February 2024. His Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Gachagua, Chairman and Board, Tea Board of Kenya, Chairman and Directors of tea factories, all industry stakeholders present, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to join the tea industry stakeholders as you launch the Tea Industry Performance Results for 2023. Tea is one of the most critical subsectors under my ministry, and I'm glad to note that immediately you and His Excellency the President came into office, you prioritized tea value chain under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. This has since given it the attention and impetus it requires to attract government and stakeholder support necessary for its revitalization. Your Excellency, under the better, agriculture has been given a critical role of transforming the lives of Kenyans by supporting the pillars on food and nutritional security and enhancing the value of exports. To ensure realization of better targets, my ministry is implementing various programs and interventions aimed at increasing returns to farmers, creating new jobs through the micro, small, and medium enterprise, and mainstreaming the youth in agro-processing. To this end, my ministry has been working with the Tea Board of Kenya and the Tea Research Institute in Kericho to establish an incubation center on product diversification into high-value specialty teas and value addition. Once complete, the center will incubate the youth and MSMEs in specialty manufacture and specialty tea products to enable them effectively participate in the highly lucrative niche market of specialty teas. Since value addition in tea has been prioritized under better as one of the key drivers for increasing the value of tea exports and returns to tea farmers, my ministry has received the National Treasury approval of a concept note to incentivize tea value addition through the establishment of a common user facility, that's a CUF in Mombasa, Dongokundu SEZ, in line with the Kenya Vision 2030. Alongside the CUF, which is mainly targeting value addition by MSMEs, exporters, the concept note proposes the establishment of a scheme aimed at unlocking the potential of Kenya tea by providing both tax and other incentives necessary to make local value addition more attractive prior to exportation of tea. The value addition scheme will also entail providing logistical support in the establishment of export warehousing hubs in the Middle East, Central and West Africa, and negotiation of concessionary freight rates in order to ease market access challenges. Your Excellency, the ministry needs your support to implement the 11 interventions contained in the concept paper to spur value addition in tea to the desired level of 50% by the year 2027. To reduce over-reliance on CTC production, the Tea Board of Kenya has in the last 3 years licensed over 15 tea factories to manufacture orthodox teas to reduce the CTC production and increase the value export earnings for the country and returns to farmers in line with the government's agenda. I urge tea factory to leverage on this opportunity to upscale their manufacture of orthodox teas and undertake value addition at factory level in order to increase their earnings from tea sales. Your Excellency, sir, the stakeholders in the tea industry are particularly happy with the government support towards value addition and product diversification. The recent zero rating of VAT for teas meant for value addition through the Finance Act 2023 is expected to spur packaging of tea before export, which will in turn contribute to increase in exports, earnings, and job opportunities for our youth. To mitigate against the decline in tea imports by Pakistan, which is the largest importer of Kenya tea, accounting for 40% of Kenya tea exports, last year I led a delegation of tea industry stakeholders to Pakistan to negotiate with the government of Pakistan on facilitating access to requisite foreign currency to pay for imported teas. Consequent to this intervention, tea was listed among essential food items in Pakistan, and thus giving priority in terms of allocation of dollars by the Central Bank of Pakistan to facilitate its imports. Today, Pakistan has resumed their normal monthly import requirements of tea from Kenya, which had fallen to nearly half at the beginning of the year 2023. Being the biggest buyer of our tea, enhanced demand by Pakistan is expected to stabilize the export prices. I am also happy to note the increasing export of value-added teas to West Africa under the African Continental Free Trade Area framework. Several Kenyan tea companies, including Ketepa, have opened distribution networks in West and Central Africa. I therefore urge the tea traders to continue harnessing the opportunities presented by the AFTA, currently under the guided initiative with ECOWAS, where there are 15 member countries with whom they can enjoy preferential negotiated tariffs. Your Excellency, sir, the tea farmers are also grateful to you and the President for extending the fertilizer subsidy program to tea amongst other crops. This is because even though tea is majorly an export crop, it is a source of livelihood for many Kenyans, particularly the 129 tea farmers spread across 20 counties who grow tea as a cash crop. In the current financial year, the government provided fertilizer subsidy to tea farmers in all smallholder tea factories. This significantly reduced the cost of fertilizer from over Kenya shillings 7,000 per 50 kilogram bag to Kenya shillings 2,500, and consequently reduced on their farm gate costs. Further, it is expected that following the application of the fertilizer during the short rain season, productivity and quality of green leaf will be enhanced and consequently tea farmers' earnings. Your Excellency, I'm also happy to note that most of the smallholder tea factories have reviewed and signed their management agreements with KTDA to enhance effectiveness and efficiency in the management of the smallholder tea factories. I urge tea factories and KTDA management services to implement the reviewed management agreements in order to address some of the challenges facing tea factories and returns to farmers. One of the most immediate impact of the revised management agreements is reduction in the management agency costs borne by the tea farmers. This will translate more into earnings to the tea farmers across all the smallholder tea factories. Ladies and gentlemen, may I conclude by mentioning that sustainability of the tea subsector calls for collaboration and continuous consultations amongst the industry stakeholders. My ministry will work with your offices and other stakeholders to make the tea industry more profitable and sustainable for the benefit of all stakeholders and the country at large. Signed, Honorable Mithika Linturi, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Thank you.
Your Excellency, I would like now to call the chairman, the one I had already mentioned earlier, just to make very brief comments on the tea and the areas they represent. At the beginning, I will call Mr. Enos Jero, Mr. Jero, the chairman of KTDA, holding to come and make up brief remarks.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Gachagua, the representative from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning. Before I make my remarks as I stand here, Your Excellency, I want to recognize my board which accompanied me and some senior management. I would like to kindly request them to stand up with the congregation. Board and senior management from KTDA. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We gather here today to commemorate the monumental milestone we have achieved in the tea sector. Tea, ladies and gentlemen, is among the leading foreign exchange earner in our country and therefore plays a magnificent role in our economy. I am therefore greatly honored and privileged to stand before you to reflect on the successes we have achieved as an organization and to celebrate the significant contribution we've made to the tea sector in general. First and foremost, let me acknowledge the transformative innovations at KTDA that have powerfully impacted the way we do our business and improved services delivery to our farmers. The introduction of groundbreaking initiatives, such as the KTDA mobile application, has revolutionized the way we, as an organization, we conduct business and interact with our tea farmers. Through this technology marvel, I am proud to say that our farmers can now access vital information regarding their tea statements, leaf kilos, and even borrow from Greenland Feather, microfinance, or from the convenience of their mobile phones. This has not only empowered our farmers, but also streamlined processes, enhancing efficiency and productivity across the board. In the last 2.5 years, our collective effort as an agency have yielded tangible results in terms of the returns to our small-scale tea farmers. I am proud to note that we have realized a remarkable increase in bonus payment in this period. For instance, the highest paying factory in this period has surged from 30 shillings per kilo to an impressive 57 Kenya shillings per kilo. This represents a positive growth of 90%. Moreover, we have in this period upheld an unwavering commitment to the welfare and prosperity of our most valued asset, the small-scale tea farmers. I am happy to note that we have increased farmers' monthly pay by 9 Kenya shillings per kilo, and payments have been made promptly by the 5th of every month. On the same note, KTDA prides itself as the only agriculture-based business that offers farmers the stability that comes with a steady monthly income and pay slips that they can use to secure loan for their investment and development projects. This, ladies and gentlemen, speak volumes about positive trajectory we are on. Furthermore, we have been making significant strides in the value addition of Kenyan tea. Notably, we have been able to capitalize our remarkable expertise and the wealth of experience of our team to indulge in robust value addition practices and develop unique products, such as the new KTDA Chai Gold, a product that has not only captivated domestic consumers, but also opened up lucrative new markets abroad. This diversification strategy not only strengthens our resilience, but also enhances sustainability by positioning Kenya as a formidable force in the global tea trend. But our success story does not end there. We have demonstrated climate-sensitive leadership by spearheading the implementation of the project aimed at conserving our environment. We have unlocked stored hydropower projects, with 5 of them being fully operationalized and 4 more set to be launched imminently. This underscores our proactive approach towards sustainability and environmental stewardship, ensuring a brighter and a greener future for generations to come. In response to our farmers' need, we have, through our subsidiary, Greenland Feather, facilitated access to friendly credit services, significantly lowering lending rates from 21% to a mere 8%. This empowers our farmers to invest in their future and unleash their full potential. Now that the central bank adjusted its lending rates, currently Greenland Feather is lending at the central bank rate plus 1.5%. Yet, despite our resounding successes, challenges persist. High taxation on tea packaging materials hampers value addition effort. The burden of intercounty levies and branded vehicles further complicates matters, hindering the market of our teas when these branded vehicles move from one county to the other. I therefore urge our county government to consider harmonization of their levies to foster a conducive environment for doing business. Further, I implore the government, through our dear President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, and you, Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, to fast-track the process of zero-rating tea packaging material. Additionally, pending court cases surrounding the Tea Act impede its full implementation. I therefore urge all interested parties to consider exploring all amicable conflict resolution mechanisms available so that we can fully adopt the Tea Act for the good of this industry. However, amidst these challenges, we found solace in the harmonious collaboration between KTDA, our sector regulator, the Tea Board of Kenya, and the Government of Kenya. Together, we have achieved significant milestones, including the adoption of the Tea Act of the 2020, which creates a fair ground for doing business. I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Government of Kenya through His Excellency President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for your unwavering support and dedication to uplifting the tea sector. Notably, the Government of Kenya subsidized fertilizer program has yielded positive fruits in our sector. For instance, there has been a significant increase in tea production due to access to subsidized fertilizer, coupled with the blessings of rain bestowed upon us by God the Almighty. These factors immensely characterized the uncharacteristic increase in production and consequently higher stocks than normal in the first quarter of 2024. And despite the increase, this year, we have managed to sell more tea compared to last year. In closing, let us remain steadfast in our commitment to excellence, innovation, and collaboration. Together, let us continue nurturing this golden leaf, ensuring that Kenya remains a beacon of excellence worldwide. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Considering the stability of our industry, I do request that the government continue supporting the industry by noting that this year we are nearing the elections of the directors. And as earlier discussed with you, Your Excellency, I request that you give us support so that we conduct these elections as per the Tea Acts and the memorandum and the articles of association of our tea industry. May God bless you. Thank you.
Your Excellency, now I will call Corians Cheriot, the chairman of Independent Tea Producers. And please, I will request whether you can make it very brief. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman. I will make it as brief as possible. His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the representative from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Chairman, Tea Board of Kenya, and representatives of the tea industry stakeholder representatives present. Good morning. Yeah, I stand here on behalf of the Independent Tea Producers Association of Kenya as a chairman. And maybe just to give a few highlights, the Independent Tea Producers Association of Kenya represents 30 factories that are spread across the entire country. These factories are serving approximately 300,000 farmers from the smallholder sector. And we contribute, and particularly so in terms of our support and facilitation of the Better program. We contribute directly to employment opportunities of 5,000 employees, and indirectly about 20,000 people benefit from our activities. So as part of the tea industry in this country, we actually play a significant role. Currently, we are processing approximately 30% of the tea produced in this country. We're happy to be part of the launch of the 2023 Tea Industry Performance Report and appreciate the key milestones that we continue to achieve, particularly with the support of government through His Excellency the Deputy President's Office, who has actually personally taken up the responsibility of spearheading improvements and reforms in the tea industry. And as we sit here today to celebrate the achievements that we were able to see last year, 2023, we also look forward to even better performance as we continue this collaboration with the government and the regulator. As independent tea producers, we want to acknowledge the support and facilitation that we have received, not just for the independents, but also for the entire tea industry, and particularly so through the provision of subsidized fertilizer, which for the year 2023, we were able to be recognized and acknowledged by government, and through the efforts that bore fruit from the discussions with the Tea Board of Kenya and the Ministry of Agriculture. And we were facilitated with subsidized fertilizer to give to our small-scale farmers who actually supply green leaf to us. Out of that, actually, we've been able to see a significant growth in terms of volumes that have actually been delivered to our factories, and hence leading to the excellent performance that has actually been demonstrated, hitting 570 million kilograms of green leaf tea, of black made tea last year. The other aspect that we'd like to also acknowledge the support and facilitation of government is the creation and recognition of the Tea Board of Kenya, which is something that the industry has actually been asking and urging for a long time, particularly from the time when the Tea Board was actually consumed into the AFA as a tea directorate. The tea industry has always felt that for maximum benefit to be derived by the tea industry, it would be important to have Tea Board of Kenya as an independent, standalone regulator. And for that, we are really grateful for the continued support and the fact that the government listened to the industry's cry and have actually facilitated the creation of the Tea Board. As an industry, while acknowledging the growth in terms of volumes that have been achieved, we also continue to emphasize on the production of good quality standard leaf. And from the side of the independent tea producers, I want to affirm the fact that we are working very closely with the regulator to ensure that as we continue to grow volumes, we also continue to improve the quality of the green leaf, hence the quality of the made tea that is actually supplied to the market. This is what will actually enhance the prices and the return to the farmer that will be eventually expected. We've had some discussions at the initial stages. I'm happy to see that it was part of the strategic notes that were highlighted by the CEO in terms of the movement to enhance the leaf quality. And we are actually looking at the possibility that within the industry, we can have a minimum leaf quality standard that will be set across for all the farmers. That way, we can then be able, as an industry, to drive the quality of our teas to exceed expectations of our buyers, and of course, definitely be able to give a better return. In the discussions that we've had, I know the issue of green leaf, the green leaf supply has been raised. We want to also affirm our continued support and cooperation as independent tea producers to work with the government and to work with the regulator, the Tea Board of Kenya, and ensure that the players within our subsector of the industry adhere to the regulations as stipulated in the Tea Act 2020, and particularly so in terms of stamping out the green leaf supply malpractices. Your Excellency, I want to stand here on behalf of the independent tea producers and affirm and confirm that what has been referred to as hawking, in some instances as mangirito, is no longer part of our business strategy. And from the time that we actually transitioned to formalized producers and manufacturers, we've also developed a code of practice for our members that ensures that some of these things are actually part and parcel of the activities that we do carry out. So, on behalf of the members, we want to stand and confirm that we will work with government and work with the regulator to ensure that these malpractices are actually stamped out. And as indicated by the chairman of the Tea Board, this has actually significantly been erased. We do not see it anymore as a major issue, but of course, we will continue working together to ensure that that is actually stamped out. One item that I would want to just highlight as I conclude, and I know we have had discussions with the Tea Board and the Ministry of Agriculture, is to do with the cost of some of the international compliance certifications, and particularly so the Rainforest Alliance certification, which is quite expensive, particularly to the tea subsector. Our position, and we hope to work together with government and the regulator, is to actually develop a homegrown certification standard that we will be able to invite the international certifying bodies to buy into, and therefore reduce the cost that is incurred. As a way of just acknowledging what it means, for each factory, virtually we spend about 5 million shillings every year just to go through the process of certification to be able to conform Not that we are not able to do it. Internally, we are actually doing it, but just to get that certification. When you translate that to about 100 factories, you're looking at about 500 million shillings that is actually being paid out. This is money that could actually be saved and be returned to our farmers as an income. As I end, let me thank you very much for inviting us to grace this launch of the 2023 tea industry performance report, and also affirm our contribution and participation as independents in enhancing the development of the tea industry in this country to greater heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shariat. Now I'll call the chairman of Kenya Tea Growers Association, Silas Jibwakale. Mr. Jibwakale.
Thank you, Chairman. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, the Chairperson of the Tea Board of Kenya, Tea Board Directors, Tea Board Management, and all industry stakeholders present, good morning. Many of you know me, having been in the industry for over 3 decades. As mentioned by the Chairman, I'm Jibwakale. I also double as the MD for Kipkebe Limited, that is a subsidiary of Sasini PLC. Our membership spans both west and east of the Rift producers. We are really grateful to the Teapot to be invited to today's auspicious occasion on the release of the tea industry performance report for 2023. We would like to thank the Presidency for really intervening and securing industry operations during the unrest witnessed in Kericho last year. We are grateful for the prevailing peace as we continue to engage with the local elected leaders. I think you're very much aware of what happened last year in Kericho, but we want really to thank the Presidency for intervention and bringing peace in that region. I wish also to relay our congratulatory messages on the reinstatement of the Tea Board of Kenya. Thank you for the appointment of the new chairperson of the board, although very stubborn. The new CEO, Mr. Willie Mutai. We are very confident as an industry that with these appointments of seasoned leaders, we'll be able to contribute more to our economy with the development of sound policies. Your Excellency, we have 3 segments of the industry: the KDDA sector, KTGA, and independent tea producers. The large-scale producers, who are largely KTGA, contributes to approximately 40% of the tea production in the country. I think, Willie, you have a task to do here, because the independents are a real force in the industry now, because if they are contributing 30% and we are contributing 40%, it means KTDA, which is the mother, is contributing 30%. So in this year's performance analysis, you really need to place us where we should be. Your Excellency, we support rural livelihoods and economies. We ensure incomes from tea for over 60,000 smallholders, outgrowers, by manufacturing and marketing their tea alongside our own green leaf. We employ about 35,000 Kenyans directly, and almost over 2 million indirectly. We also undertake investment in the local communities through targeted activities that improve social conditions and the standards of living of communities that neighbor our areas of operation. The industry investments in local communities include the recently launched Lipton Tea Innovation and Technology Academy, FinTea Union, various educational institutions, installation of water facilities and environmental conservation efforts, among other corporate social responsibility initiatives in communities. Challenges. Of course, as mentioned by the previous speakers, overall increase in cost of what? Doing business in terms of cost of energy, certification cost, labor cost, and the cost of inputs have put businesses under strain and threatens business sustainability and global competitiveness of the tea subsector. High volumes of tea. There has been high production of tea, and this together with other issues have led to the crash of the tea prices. We ask for support from the government to expand markets for the Kenyan tea. This will help in cushioning the tea producers when key markets are faced with political and economic challenges as it is today. Of course, as an industry, we cannot forget to allow the government on the provision of the subsidized fertilizers. For the last over 30 years I've been in the industry, last year is the first time that farmers that are affiliated to KTGA were actually also offered the opportunity to use subsidized fertilizer. I'm sure many will say that that has led to the high volumes, but it has translated to improved incomes to the what? The farming community. On legislative issues, the Tea Act, Your Excellency, your directive during the Kericho Tea Conference in July last year regarding the resolution of the court cases, KTGA has discussed and agreed with the management of the board on terms of resolving the tea court dispute. We are looking forward to closure of the issues so that the industry can focus on business operations. I would like also just to bring to your attention that I have just received a text message from a member representing the governor of Bomet, Professor Hilary Barchok, that Bomet County is over there, is also willing to discuss to resolve the court what? Matter. So I think the chairman of the tea board, please take it up with the Bomet County so that you can be able to resolve the issues. So we urge the board to bring other players on board so that the cases are solved amicably through engagement with all the players in the industry. In conclusion, KTGA reiterates our commitment to developing the subsector and sustainability of industry in order to maintain and grow the benefits to the economy and communities around us. The association will continue to operate within the confines of the law in cooperation with the Tea Board and support the Kenya Kwanza government in realizing their promises to Kenyans and particularly the tea farmers. Thank you.
Thank you, Silas. I'm glad you have said that I'm a stubborn man. Yes, I am. Particularly, Mr. Jiwakale has been trying to get me, one of his representatives, into my board, and I've said no, so long as you have taken us to court, taken the government to court. Until you withdraw, you are not going to sit in my board. And I think why he is finding him very stubborn. And so is the same as East African Tea Trade Association. I've said you're not going to sit in my board, in the tea board, so long as you are in court. You cannot be in court and at the same time a policy maker. But once again, now I would like to call Mr. Sewe. Unfortunately, Mr. Sewe, we are running. I have to take you through to be very brief, please.
Thank you.
Thanks. I know you're a man of few words, so.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, all protocol observed. I'm the chairman of East African Tea Trade Association, IATA in short. And just to give a brief on EATTA, we are the umbrella body or the apex body of all tea growing countries in East and Central Africa. And the 10 countries are Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Malawi, Mozambique, Madagascar, and the last one is DRC. Your Excellency, EATTA is domiciled in Kenya, and the current chairman is a Kenyan. And you can see the interest that we have in tea in Kenya. Because of time, Your Excellency, I'm not going to talk about the achievements. We have all heard about the achievements that we have had, and in particular, in the year 2023. I think I'll only touch on the challenges that we have in tea. As the apex body in tea, or of tea, by extension, we are the apex body of all stakeholders and tea growers. And at the bottom line, the farmer. And that is the role that we cannot run away from. At the moment, Your Excellency, we have a lot of challenges that if we don't touch on a forum like this, then I think we will have not finished our role as the people who are concerned. At the moment, particularly for those who are in tea business, we have depressed prices. It is not just in Kenya, this is globally. And we are very concerned, and we know why we have depressed prices. We know how we can tackle it, we know how we can take it on, but looking at the way we are tackling it as tea growers, particularly in Kenya, it is like we are taking things for granted. Kenya as a country has been riding on the perception of good quality tea from Kenya. That is no more. We have countries which are members of VATTA. An example is Rwanda. They came from nowhere. The people who taught them how to grow tea, how to manufacture tea, came from this country, and it is now leading in the region. When they are getting $4 per kilo, we are getting an average of less than $2, less than what they get. And yet we know why. This is a challenge and must be tackled with full consultation across the board. And this, again, we have complained about because we have tea gurus in this country, the people who know it all. If they are not consulted, then the problems that we are facing will never be solved in an amicable way and in a way that will make the farmer earn what the farmer deserves. A problem is in the volumes that we produce. It is like we are producing tea, knowing that tea will be sold, but not taking into account the quality of tea that we produce. That cannot continue if you are in tea business. We cannot produce tea, and in Kenya today, what we are consuming locally is about 10%. And assume that the 90% that is the balance will be sold out and get the price that we want. We must start drinking tea and buy tea for a price that it deserves in this country. I wish, and Your Excellency, you said it in Kericho, that in a forum like this, it was said, but I don't see it, each table should have been filled up with a cup of tea. Let us practice what we say, and we must drink tea. Marketing is a very big problem because the markets that we have had for our tea, particularly in Kenya tea, have remained the same for the last 15 years. We must go out, expand, and get people that will buy the teas that we make, but based on the quality that they want. With those few remarks, Your Excellency, thank you very much. Wish everybody good time to drink tea. Thank you.
Before I invite His Excellency to address us, I've got one guest who I feel not recognized, and Mr. Khan, please come up here. Mr. Khan is the Trade Commissioner in the High Commission of Pakistan. As you all know, Pakistan buys most of our teas, and particularly from the small-scale farmers. So, Mr. Khan, just a few remarks. Most welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and good morning, everyone and everybody here. and Excellency, the Deputy President and the representative of the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Chairman of ETTA and KTDA, and all the respected guests. Let me set an example to be very brief. Indeed, it's a very much pleasure that Pakistan and Kenya trade is growing all the time. And the tea which is consumed in Pakistan is 86% of the total consumption, and that comes from mostly from Kenya. And as an honorable sir pointed out that there is an issue of the cost of doing business and the cost of growing. So the government of Pakistan, the High Commission of Pakistan is always there to assist and to guide. You know, the Pakistan is a big country and agriculture is one of the very potential sector of Pakistan. So we are here to assist, we are here to guide for the agriculture consultancy, as well as other factors that you deem necessary. And thank you for all. Thank you to set an example for that. Thank you, Excellency.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, could I request you all to be upstanding? We invite His Excellency, the Deputy President, to address us. Welcome, Mr. President.
Thank you. Please be seated. The chairperson of the board, the Tea Board of Kenya, all other stakeholders, chairpersons and directors of tea factories, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure joining the Tea Board of Kenya and other tea stakeholders on this crucial occasion of reflecting on the performance of our service to the beneficiary, the farmer. For over 1 year, I have been deeply involved in the tea subsector reforms as per the Executive Order number 1 and 2 of 2023. At the onset, I wish to congratulate the Tea Board of Kenya, the Kenya Tea Development Agency Estate, and smallholder farmers for earning our country a record 180.57 billion Kenya shillings in the year 2023. This was a 31% increase in value of exports. It is the highest since the year 2013. This was a major boost to our economy as the shilling sought stability against major foreign currencies. Although the sales per kilo dropped from $2.62 to $2.47 per kilo, the foreign exchange earned cushioned our denominations from hours of free fall. On the flip side, the high exchange rate of US dollar against the shilling also enabled our over 834,000 farmers earn up to 345.32 Kenya shillings per kilo in the year 2023, as opposed to 306 per kilo in the previous year. Partly, this is one of the reasons small-scale farmers receive the highest bonus. In 2022-2023, one of the best in the recent past. The impact of the bonus has been immense. Farmers across the country have paid school fees from the bonus instead of expensive loans. While some are building decent houses, others have bought cows and other property. In paying school fees, building a decent home, buying a cow, to enjoy a cup of tea with milk without a loan, we are restoring the dignity to our farmer as envisaged under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. At the macro level, tea exports from small-scale and estate farmers have helped strengthen resilience of our shilling against major currencies. It is for this reason that we are determined to deliver on the tea subsector reforms as agreed during the Kericho Tea Conference in July last year and other subsequent meetings that have had with key stakeholders. Small-scale farmers must benefit like their estate counterparts. We want the subsector to support socio-economic transformation of lives as promised under the Kenya Kwanza plan, which the people of Kenya voted for when they elected President William Ruto. Under favorable conditions, farmers are ready to produce more, as witnessed in the year under review, when they registered 570 million kilos against 535 million kilos in the previous year. We have had to support the small-scale farmer to earn what they deserve in board decisions, in legal policy, and the framework through the value chain. These will provide the basis for high-value tea specialty and CTC products as we embrace diversity to meet emerging demands of consumers who dictate the market. To show our sheer determination of ensuring a streamlined tea subsector, we are systematically addressing key issues that increase the cost of producing and processing tea up to the market level. For instance, I've engaged the KTDA Management Service, the Tea Board of Kenya, and relevant stakeholders on dealing with glut to avoid loss in value of unsold tea. We are also alive to the market shocks resulting from the geopolitical issues negatively affecting our key markets such as Sudan, Russia and Ukraine, the Middle East, among others. In his foreign missions, marketing our product is top of our president's agenda. Further, embassies and missions have a key responsibility of marketing our products as we focus on economic diplomacy. Similarly, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, the Honorable Mithika Linturi, is having direct bilateral engagements with high-value markets for favorable trading terms. For instance, his visit to Pakistan, a consumer of up to 40% of Kenya's tea, the purchase of our tea in US dollars have been given top priority by the Central Bank of the Asian states. We are working to retain the current and conquering new markets to meet the increasing production of tea. The executive is exploring bilateral engagements with other markets such as China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey in pursuit of a bigger bite of the international market. But we can only stamp our presence in the market if we present quality and value-added products. We aim to increase value-added tea exports from 5% in 2023 to 50% by 2027. The government is ready and willing to work with you in improving factory machinery and other specialized equipment to achieve this target. This will increase the value of tea exports from 180 billion Kenya shillings in 2023 to over 272 billion shillings by the year 2027. The earnings of smallholders must move from the current average of 59 shillings per kilo in the financial year of 2022-23 of green leaf to 90 Kenya shillings per kilo in the 2026-27 financial year. This will be a massive contribution to the economy. This is why we are ready to implement radical reforms in the tea subsector toward this end. The challenges we are facing in court cases are short-lived. The farmer who is the boss will, in the long run, benefit from the tea business. As factories prepare for elections, we urge the farmer to put integrity first. Good leadership will promote and protect the reforms we are undertaking for a sane and productive tea subsector. On this note, it is now my pleasure to launch the 2023 Tea Industry Performance Results. Asante sana. Thank you. I just want to add very little on top of what I have said, is that tea economy, because of its 2% and 4% contribution to the agricultural GDP. It is the third after tourism and diaspora remittances in terms of foreign exchange earnings. So it's a critical subsector for our economy, and that is why President William Ruto, in his wisdom, elevated this sector, among other sectors, to the presidency by asking me and directing me to oversee reforms within the tea subsector, among other subsectors. I want to say that we are keeping a close watch of what is happening in the industry. And I'm very elated to be here at the Tea Board of Kenya headquarters because when a decision was made a few years back to collapse all these subsectors and alpha for regulatory and oversight. We almost lost this sector. The re-establishment of Tea Board of Kenya as the regulatory authority to oversee what is happening in the subsector is what has restored this subsector. And we almost lost it. In fact, we are also in the process of bringing back the Coffee Board of Kenya. Again, at the Alpha, we almost lost the coffee subsector. These sectors are so important to our economy, they need to stand on their own. It was a wrong policy decision to collapse critical subsectors under one umbrella body. And I want to say I am very happy with what is going on in this subsector, and the board is doing a good job, and please continue doing so. We need to be very aggressive in our marketing. We have to go out of our way, and when we appointed new ambassadors and high commissioners, and the president addressed them, and I did also talk to them, changed our approach to diplomacy. 80% of our ambassadors and high commissioners, 80% of their work is to look for markets for our produce, expand the existing ones, and create new markets where there is potential. And in matters tea, I am personally keeping a close watch on what is happening in all countries that uptake our tea. I'll shortly be going to Iran to unlock the challenges that have befell our tea. Iran is a heavy consumer of orthodox tea from this country, but there are issues that they need to be unlocked at the top level echelons of government, and I will be going to Iran personally, specifically to make sure that whatever issues are there are straightened, they are ironed out, so that we can resume exporting tea to Iran and the other nearby countries. So I want to say that we have been talking to KTDA and players that we want to work hand in hand in stamping our presence and authority in the world stage, because our tea is the best in the world, yet its presence is not to the level that it should have been. So this is something that we'll continue working on. Again, on issues of orthodox tea, I've told KTDA, the national government is willing to partner with our factories and the county governments. And we agree on a shared contribution where the national government will put some money, the counties will put some money, and the factories will put some money to come up with an orthodox tea production line so that we can be able to get more money to the farmer. Because that tea is is required a lot, and the prices are better. So that is something that we are going to discuss so that we see what to do. In matters hawking of tea, we have given very clear instructions to officers of the National Government Administration and the various county security and intelligence committees to give every support to the Tea Board of Kenya to make sure that those who are engaged in tea hawking are eradicated from the sector, because that has been a big challenge. And I am told, and I have got information, that a lot of progress has been made. There is no let-up. We'll continue working with Tea Board of Kenya, with our officers, to make sure that all those people engaging in the illegal activity of tea hawking are apprehended and have their day in court, so that we can protect the sector from criminal elements who want to reap where they have not sown. Again, President William Ruto, on assuming office, came up with a brilliant strategy on how to bring down the cost of production by subsidizing fertilizer. The president made a very wise decision that you cannot subsidize consumption because it's not sustainable. And that is how he came up with a program. Fertilizer that was 7,000 shillings came to 3,500, now it's 2,500. We urge KTDA also, because of the economies of scale and the large quantities of fertilizer that they buy for onward transmission to the tea farmer, to use the leverage of economies of scale to get the right fertilizer that will fit the soils at the right price so that the farmer can get the benefit. And with bringing down the cost of production, that will assist the farmer to earn a little bit more. In matters stability of the tea subsector, we have been very deliberate as an administration to make sure we don't allow anybody to destabilize the subsector. We are working with people who are in office because that is the right thing to do, and will continue doing so. However, the time for elections in KTDA are almost here, and I want to say that farmers must be allowed the opportunity to decide who will manage their affairs, because Kenya is a democratic country, and again, it's in accordance with the articles of association and memorandum of the factory. So when the time comes, the government will supervise the elections to make sure that there is no interruption, there is nobody who is interfering with the orderly way elections are supposed to be conducted. Again, court cases have frustrated reforms in the subsector, and in Kericho we did agree with all the stakeholders that they will withdraw the cases before court to allow the reforms to be beneficial to the farmer. Some have, unfortunately, others have not. I want to call upon all the stakeholders who mean well for the Kenyan farmer, who genuinely mean well for the Kenyan farmer, to please withdraw those cases and allow these reforms to be implemented fully for the benefit of the Kenyan farmer. Those who are in KTDA who want to run for elections, they are free to do so, but they cannot run for elections when they have taken the organization to court. It is absurd that we are using farmers' money to sort out individual issues. People who want to lead, people who are greedy for power, take farmers to courts. We have to pay lawyers from the farmers' earnings. It is not right, it is unethical, it's immoral. You cannot say that you mean well for the Kenyan farmer, yet you take the farmer to court and use his or her earnings to prosecute your matter in court against the farmer. So as an administration, we will be very reluctant, and I don't think we can allow anybody who has taken the farmers to court to run for office. If you want to run for office, please leave court and go to the farmers and seek mandate. And if the farmers in their wisdom decide that you have the capacity to lead them, they will allow you to lead them. But you cannot take the farmers to court, use their resources to prosecute them in court, and come and say you want to lead them. So the moratorium that was there for the former directors not to run for office will be lifted when they get out of court and go to the farmers and seek office. Farmers' issues are not decided in court, they are decided at the factory. That is where they are. Go to the AGM there and seek mandate from the farmers and tell them you want to lead them and you want to manage their affairs, and they'll consider and they'll allow you if they think you are suitable. But taking farmers to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal, I think it's unfair, it's not right. And when you look at these issues being canvassed in court, they have nothing to do with the farmer. none of those litigants has the interest of the farmer at heart. They want to protect their turf. They want to have their say in decision making, not to the interest of the farmer, but to the detriment of the farmer. So we will be saying we are willing to allow everybody to seek for office, because this country of ours is a democratic country, and everybody has a right to seek for whatever office you want to in the land, including being a director in a factory owned by farmers. But let us agree that farmers' issues will be sorted at the factory, not in a court of law. So you cannot be at the factory and at the courtroom at the same time. You just have to make a decision where you want to be. And I think once we do that, we would want the elections for KTDA factories to take place. The government will supervise, will make sure we provide security and everything to allow the farmers to freely and democratically choose their directors so that they represent their interests and they are accountable to the tea farmer for the orderly running of the industry. So mimi nimeshukuru sana 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 sana, and I want to say that we are together. The President and I are available for consultation anytime we are required, and I agree with the last speaker, we need to work on quality, because quality is very, very, very important. But again, you know, quality is also informed by the incentives that we give the farmers. They go hand in hand. When the farmers get a good price, they are motivated to also, you know, apply the inputs and take care of the tea bush. So the two go together. So even as we ask the farmers to improve on quality, we in the leadership, in the subsector, must go out of our way to make sure that we pay the farmers well, so that they are motivated and they feel that they are doing the right thing and they are energized. And as long as the farmers are motivated, they are energized, they will produce not just good quality but also huge quantities. So mimi nimeshukuru sana sana sana, asanteni sana. May God bless you and bless you abundantly. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.